Good day everyone, welcome to PHENOMSOUND. Glad to see you here. And right before we get to the tutorial, I would like to say a few important words to you guys. It's been 1 year since Russian terrorists invaded my country and they keep spreading suffering and darkness across the country daily. And I would like to say a huge thank you all guys for your outstanding support, all your words of love and your prayers for Ukraine. Together we will definitely get through this and we will win. Thank you all friends. Much love. So on my Discord server, you've been asking me to record a full TEAROUT drop walkthrough from sound design to mixing and mastering. And there you have it. I have a little demo and it sounds like this. That sounds really nasty, and if you want to take a deep look into this project, it is available on my Patreon page. Also, you can find all serum presets from it and samples. So go ahead and check this out. Here's the link to it. There are a lot of interesting content, so I will be really happy to see you there. Okay, let's take a look at how to make this drop from scratch. First of all, we are going to check on the bass layers. The first and the main layer of the bass in this drop is this serum preset. It's extremely simple. I've used a couple of oscillators and just a bunch of FXs. Here I've used a simple trilobite one wavetable, another simple wavetable from the basic shapes on the second oscillator, and a noise. All this is automated using the first LFO. And here I have a couple of FXs, flanger, chorus, and compressor. Those are really subtle, and here's what makes the sound fat. It's the filter called comps and the huge reverb. Here are the settings of the comps automation. It makes huge difference. And here's another bass layer. It sounds like a laser bass. I've played it really high. It's also pretty simple. Simple saw wave on the first oscillator, another basic shape on the second one, noise, and pretty much the same setup of the FXs, except the filter is set to be the reverb. So together it sounds like this. And finally, the third serum layer, it's a tonal layer. While previous basses are mostly laserish transients or atmospheric spacey sounds, this one is more classic rhythm bass. If you have watched some of my previous tutorials, you probably have guessed that this one is from one of my old tutorials called how to make a screechy laser bass. I've just added a filter. It's again the reverb filter, which makes the sound metallic and rhythmish. With this kind of settings. Nothing too fancy, just one simple automation, one filter. Okay, then I have a layer of percussions. Really wide stereo hi-hats. Then I have another percussive sound that I've recorded previously. I guess it's a sound of a hit of some metallic objects or something. I've played it really low, like this. This also gives a nice tonal effect to our sound and add the harmonies. And I'm adding another hi-hat to this one. Okay, let's get to the drums. I have real acoustic rides over here. Hi-hat and a kick, which are layered. Some of my old kicks. Quite punchy. And a hi-hat, which makes this kick sound complete. And some virtual riot snare, the low smack one. But to make it sound like a pure TEAROUT snare, I'm layering a couple of more sounds on top of it. It's some acoustic snare from my old samples collection and another acoustic snare. I've created those little fade-ins to remove the transient and to prevent getting conflicts with the main snare. We are only needing the tails. And one of the most important things of this drop and of the TEAROUT generally, it's the fat sub. I'm using Vital. I'm using it for all of my sub basses because I like the way the sub bass sounds in this plugin, and particularly after getting distorted and compressed. And I'll show you it right now real quick. So here's the plain sub. It's a bit distorted sine wave, almost transformed into a saw, and I'm using the LFO automation to create this pitch sliding effect and adding a noise called waves. Then we are going to compress it. I'm removing all of the mid frequencies and boosting up the low end and high end. And then we are distorting the sound almost to the maximum. It's at 24 decibel. So it sounds almost like a kick or 808 bass. Okay, sounds nice, but a bit empty. So you have a couple of tricks to fix that. I have a couple of sound effects. It's a glass break sound effects. I have different ones on the left ear and on the right one. So it's really white and crunchy. But still it sounds a bit empty, and to make it sound like a TEAROUT we need some high-pitched screech background noise. Let's go ahead and add one. This one is the additional one, and the main noise will be this one. It's this annoying lead, kinda electricity sound, and I'm resampling it. I'm moving the pitch all the way up and making sure that the stretch mode is set to stretch pro, and moving the 4-month slider all the way to the left. On the fixes we have, let me disable this one. I have the EQ vibrato from Melda Production, the Blood Overdrive, which makes a huge distortion, and a gross beat to make this noise a bit more rhythmical, and a ring modulator, which does a good job on digitizing this noise. And this additional noise sounds like this. So this is the result. And a really important and cool sounding trick in the TEAROUT drops is the kinda glitchy stuttering effect of the bass. Here it is. kind of machine gun bass. It's very simple. We need to get back to the sub bass, make it look like this, and I've used a percussion sample. It's from my Foley pack that I've recorded back in the day, and I've posted this for free on my Discord page, so go ahead and check this out. Hope you will find it useful. So here's the sample that I've used. Pitched it up. And added a hi-hat. So in the dynamic motion it sounds really impressive, while there's nothing fancy going on the production side. There's one important thing that I want to tell you about the sub-bass mixing. So let me show you how the sub sounds. And this is how it sounds clean. Okay, let me open up another instance of the EQ. And since this sub is quite distorted, we have a lot of mud going on at around 240 Hz. And if we get rid of it, we will get quite a magical trick. First of all, I'm adding a bit of distortion with blood overdrive. And the EQ. I'm creating this type of envelope and getting rid of this low mid mud and adding an exciter to bring the noise up a bit. I'm using it on everything above 3K with the amount of 5.5. Let's focus on the really low frequencies if your current output system allows to feel that. And compare different versions of this drop with the low mids cut and without those. So here we go. We can hear a lot of mids, and suddenly our low frequencies quite disappear. So if you make a bit louder and compare once again, you will find out that as soon as you cut the mud, your really low frequencies, something around 40-50 Hz, suddenly pops up, and this moves your ears really dramatically. So this is the magic of the mud cutting in your mixing, and particularly in a sub-bass mixing. We've managed the sub, and now let's check on the post-processing of the main basses. It's really simple as possible. Just two plugins. It's the EQ with low cut and some sharpness reduction over here, and the isotope ozone exciter, which once again pops up the high frequencies, which makes the sound really spacey and bright. So exciter works on the amount of 11 on everything above 1.7K Hz. In the second part of the drop, I've added the same percussive sound that I've used before, and I've duplicated the rhythm of the main bass. And added this glitchy effect. which is another serum synthesis. I've automated the octaves on both oscillators and added a pitch sliding effect on the master. Nothing too fancy. I've resampled it once again and moved the pitch all the way down and the formant all the way to the left. You could make it a nice percussive bass for your rhythm probably from this sound. I have a couple of plugins: EQ, compressor, lo-fi on the effector, auto pan, another tiny effector, and we get something like this. By the way, I have a nice little trick that I want to show you guys. I have this Warcraft 3 quote that I've downloaded probably from the game itself or from some YouTube channel, and the game is really old and the quality of the audio was really awful.
From the depths I come. From the depths I come.
As you can hear, there's no high end at all, which is very audible. So it seems really low quality, and I have a trick on how to restore these high frequencies to make this sound really sharp and crispy. I'm using the effector, particularly the lo-fi effect set at this point, which doesn't make it sound like a really distorted and bit crushed sound, but adds
from the depths I come.
Perfectly shaped high frequencies.
From the depths I come. From the depths I come.
Just awesome.
From the depths I come.
So if you have sounds where you want to restore the high frequencies, there's the trick. By the way, I have a set of Warcraft 3 quotes for your pre-drop phrases on my Discord server as well. So this is another nice reason to visit it and to become a member of PHENOMSOUND community.
From the depths I come.
Nice, let's take a look at these rising up leads. Really high pitched ones. I have a couple of sounds layered. This bass. Which is, I believe, is based on the factory preset called Bass Snailed, and it used this I Can Has Kick wavetable, which I like. These are the fixes, quite a lot of them, and a master tuning automation. And another sliding down sound, it's the screechy lead. By the way, I have a really major influence on the sound from the Melter Production vibrator plugin. Sounds really awesome. And there's another high-pitched sound, quite wobbly one. Basic saw waves. And a sub bass with the same pitch automation. This screechy sound is using the frequency shifter and auto pan on it. That's it with the sound design and mixing, but the very important thing is the mastering. In most cases, I'm using really minimalistic set of plugins, and in this particular case, it's the Isotope Ozone Maximizer. Let's check how this drop sounds without it. check out the numbers. The inside says that the integrated volume, which is the loudness of your track, in this case is -5.3, while the most of the professional dubstep or EDM tracks are somewhere between the -2 and -4. And we will achieve this right now using the maximizer. Let's check the numbers now. So now we have -4 without clipping, without huge distortion, and just using one simple plugin. And the most important, without losing our transients, which is a huge problem while you are trying to compress something real dramatically. I have it set to IRC4, the transient mode. The character is real fast, it's 0.8. I have the soft clipping turned on with 12% and transient emphasis set to almost 100%. The stereo independence moved all the way up on both transient and sustain. So this makes the trick, and let's check the final version of the drop once again. So this was it. Hope you found some really useful information for you guys. If you do, don't forget to like this video, to leave a comment and to subscribe to my channel. This helps PHENOMSOUND to grow a lot faster. Also, I would be happy to see you on my Patreon page. I have a huge library of Serum preset samples and FL Studio projects, so don't miss out. Once again, I would like to welcome you to my Discord server. By the way, recently I was asking your opinion on which headphones you would suggest me to purchase, because I wanted to upgrade my old ones, and you have suggested me Beyerdynamics DT770, and there you have it. I decided to stop on this version, and it does sound really fantastic. I would like to say huge thanks for helping me solving this task, and of course let me know how my stuff sounds using the new gear, if there is any difference between the previous demos and this one. I'm really curious. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Much love to all of you guys, and see you in my next video. Bye!